Oh, by the way, I'm kinky. Welcome to Outlandish, the podcast where we explore the funny side of sex and relationships, the good stuff and the bad. I'm Lisa Nash.
And I'm Melanie Cameron. Each episode, we look at the hot topics everyone's talking about in the media. Expect lots of laughs, a whole load of real talk mixed in with some super special guests.
And joining us today, we've got the lovely Gigi Engle, a sex educator and writer who's featured in the likes of Cosmopolitan and Men's Health. We'll be talking to her about confidence in the bedroom. Ooh. And we'll be getting tips on how people in long-term relationships can spice up their sex lives.
Spice it up, spice it up. So pour yourself a glass of wine and get ready for a new take on love and lust that will have you laughing, cringing, and maybe even blushing a little bit.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her today.
Oh, let's talk about spice up your life.
I know, she's got loads of tips for us and for you guys that are listening.
I don't know why you looked at me when you said like loads of tips for us. What do you know that I don't?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
We're still going to find out.
First of all, Lisa.
Yeah, we can actually... Oh, let's get the mic. We can actually cheers.
Cheers.
This is my first glass of wine.
She's back.
I'm back. So expect slurring.
Thank goodness.
More laughs. So...
Welcome back to the dark side, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you. We've got red wine today as well.
So tell me, how's it been since you've come off of dry Jan reset?
It doesn't feel any different, really.
No?
No. I mean, as I've said before, I quite enjoyed having the month off.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't enjoy you having a month off.
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. So, yeah, I'm ready to have a little drink again. But I am going to try and continue to be a little bit good, because I don't want to just, have that month off and then go straight back into it. But the odd little glass of wine here and there. Ask me next month. See how it all goes.
Can you see my face?
Down. Yeah.
Can you read what I'm saying to you? Because all I can hear is blah 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 blah.
It feels really weird actually, like talking this way. So we've actually swapped seats today. One because I've got like a Paisley co-ord on, and I'm clashing with a brick wall. So I'm sitting over here today.
Yeah, but you know what? That's like the Ant and Dec. Not that I'm by any means comparing us to Ant and Dec. Well, PJ
had their particular
PJ
side.
and Duncan, maybe, not quite Ant and Dec. They have the side, don't they?
Yeah.
So everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
But do you think people might get us confused now that we've swapped seats?
I don't think so. We look different. We sound quite similar.
We do sound similar.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes when I hear the audio back, I'm like, is that me or Lisa?
I know.
Bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the laughs that's different. Mine's more
raspy.
Yours
Yours is filthier.
Yeah, and I've still got this annoying cough that I think everybody's got. What's it called? The 100-day cough.
Yeah, well, we were just saying this before we came.
I feel absolutely fine, but it's just there every now and again.
Do you feel fine, or do you feel as knackered as the rest of the country?
Oh, okay, well, that kind of side. I mean, I don't feel ill, but I feel absolutely shattered. I think everyone does. We were just talking to the engineer. Feels exactly
Do you
the
feel
same.
knackered as well?
Yeah, exhausted. And he actually said it's like January is just draining.
It's just going on and
yeah.
on. Everybody I speak to, and I don't know if you guys at home are feeling the same, is absolutely knackered. Like, we're supposed to start the new year fresh, energised. I've never been so tired.
I know.
To the point where I rang my GP the other day and I was like, there is something wrong with me. And she was like, well,
It could be a number of
there's
things.
a number of reasons why you might be tired. I was like, no, there's something wrong with me. So now I'm like,
well, the popular thing to take, obviously, is the iron, isn't it? And
well,
the
that's
zinc
what they said. It could be a deficiency.
Well, because when you're over 40, I mean,
No,
just
I don't
finding
know.
this, you get like a complimentary health check on the
Oh no!
on the
I
NHS.
got that.
We gotta love the NHS.
I put just before you go on, I put that in what I call my straw, and my straw is when you look at a bill and you go, oh no, and I put it in the drawer and I shut it and I go shh. That's
like
where
that.
the over 40s health check went.
Yeah, well, it's complimentary. So I can't laugh because of my chest. But I always go and get it done because it checks all your bloods and all your, the liver. Thank God everything's all good.
I don't want them to check my liver.
But last year, and I was feeling a lot more tired than I am now, I was lacking in a bit of folic acid, and obviously they gave me some, and I felt absolutely fine. So that could be a deficiency, I think.
So wait,
so iron, folic acid, anything like that, especially in women.
With this health check, I didn't realise that they did all of that, like, you know, the bloods and all of that.
They do everything. Listen, I'm a hypochondriac, so I'm like,
I know.
There's this wrong with me. So I think it's just, I say complimentary, you're only supposed to get like about 4.
Lisa's meant to be coming on holiday with me this year. I'm like, oh, God, what's she going to have in the bag? Like a full medical kit.
Do you know what? Again, going back to my makeup days, used to buy these little bottles that you could actually put some products in. So I've got loads, Mel. I can share them with you before we go.
All right.
Well, so we don't double up on things.
Will you bring a full first aid kit with you?
No, I don't plan on hurting myself or anyone getting injured. Even
you're a massive liability. You're bound to hurt yourself.
That's 5 girls. Is there 5 of us?
No, there's 7.
Oh, there's 7.
And then when you join, that will make 8.
Oh, okay.
By the way, they don't know that you're coming yet. They do now.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Hi, girls. No, been trying to work out the dates, but yes, I'm coming.
Yeah, so we're planning.
Maybe I will bring a first aid kit then.
It's important you do.
I'm hoping the villa might have one.
So we're planning a girly trip to Ibiza this summer, and there's 8 girls in their 40s, 50s, and late 30s, 40s, and 50s. So yeah,
nice mixture.
It's a nice mixture. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some injuries. I've seen some horrific villa injuries over the years, but that's for a whole other podcast.
Yes, that actually I just went quiet then, because that actually just gives me the horrors.
What, villa injuries?
Just any kind of injury. Yeah, I've got a knee. Having my meniscus redone, pending. So
I want you to say that after the end of that glass of wine.
Meniscus. My meniscus tear. What about the end of it, the beginning of it? Right, let's move on. Hope everybody out there is not feeling as tired as us.
Yeah, and if you are, then maybe go and get your iron levels checked.
Yeah, or your folic acid.
God, I'm toned into my mother.
I know.
When did that happen? We used to be cool.
A few years ago.
All right, let's try and turn this around and to make it something a little bit less mumsy.
Yeah.
So there was an article in the Daily Star this week, and it talked about the amount of sexual injuries people have.
Talking about injuries.
These are caused by in the moment.
Well, we've all had some of those, haven't we?
You speak for yourself.
I was just going to say.
They reckon one. We like TMI. Yeah. Keep it going.
Yeah.
So, according to this survey, 1 in 3 Brits had a sex injury last year. Now, that's quite a lot.
That's low.
That's quite a lot. Now, there was a poll of...
Is this on holiday or is this just generally?
No, this is just generally.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's had some kind of injury.
Well, they reckon that a poll of 2,000 Brits, a whacking 37% confessed to having an injury that they got during sex. So that, if you look at that in terms of the population... That's around 19 million people that have come a cropper when they're having a little bonk.
Oh my gosh. Well, the one that springs to mind, I think, is probably the most common, isn't it?
It's the old carpet burn.
Yeah, the carpet burn, especially like doggy style, I think, isn't it? Okay, get a bit too much information back.
No, but apparently that is one
or back burns.
Well, or if you're butter churning, like you mentioned last week.
Well, your bum actually doesn't get on the floor, does it?
You might get some back burns doing the butter churn.
Spine burns.
The back burn butter churn. Oh, nearly had it then.
The back burn
butter churn.
Oh, I like
That's almost like a warm-up exercise.
Yes, a vocal warm-up.
Yeah. Well, I actually...
burn butter churn.
The back burn butter churn.
Love it.
I actually know someone.
Yeah.
So I work with a comedian called Slim. I had the pleasure of working with a few years back. And actually, I saw him at the Hackney Empire, which is quite close to where we record. And he does a whole section of his stand-up show about how he broke his penis during sex.
Oh, you're joking.
And it actually happened.
What, that can actually... You could break your penis during sex?
Yeah. It happened
obviously
to him.
You can do it the wrong position when you get a bit too,
You're doing that thing we had.
He loves my hand actions.
But no, he broke his penis. And the only reason I'm saying this is because he did put it in his book. So
yeah, of course.
But this was the best part. So
I'm just visualising it right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was sat. He very kindly put me and some friends in a box at the Hackney Empire, and his daughter was in the same box, and her face when she started telling this story, she was like, oh no, why does he always have to tell this story?
So comedy gold though, isn't it?
But not only is he talking about how he broke his penis, it's your dad talking about how he broke his penis during sex. So it's a thing.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Listen, my daughter, anytime she's like, Mum, and even my brother, it's like, I do not want to be tuning in and listening to you talking about sex. So I think it's any kind of family member.
I hope it's that, and not that we've got past an age where it's, it's like you can hear all the young people talking about sex and you're like, oh, listen to them. And then you hear slightly older people and you go, oh, that's a bit cringe.
Yeah. Or
are we a bit cringe now?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I just before we wrap this up, because
I still want to go back to that. How is it possible to break your penis?
Well, it's a muscle and it's got bones in it.
Has it got bone? I suppose boner. Rewind.
Every week, I think I'm not going to give our lovely team any more double chin, mouth wide open shots for them to put on social media.
I'm sorry, viewers and listeners. I really am.
No, never be sorry, and never stop saying stuff.
Right, let's move on quickly. Right, so what's your next story?
I don't have one. It's your
I'm going to talk about one then. So, let's just catch our breath for a moment.
Take a moment and a sip of wine.
Yeah.
I feel it helps.
I am actually going to have a little sip of wine, enjoy it and savour it.
That's not what she said before the cameras came on. She actually said, I might back this whole glass before we start. And I said, you'll have black teeth, because there's been many a party at the end of the night. Me and Lisa are looking at each other going, you've got black teeth. So
I'm not a massive red wine drinker, actually. I love red wine, but I'll have like one or two. It does get me a little bit more tipsy. So I'll apologise now for the slurring that will be coming up in approximately 20 minutes. I've seen you drink
more than one or two.
Right, okay, so our next story, moving on swiftly. So last week, if you remember, we spoke about the whole TikTok trend about the orange.
The orange
so
peel.
the acts of love, so to speak. And by the way, I'm getting better on TikTok.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I've been doing some posts. So anyone that's listening right now, you can follow me on TikTok. It's Lisa Nash Splash. And Outlandish.
I think I'm It's Mel Cameron and we're Outlandish Live.
Yes, and we're Outlandish Live.
But you are getting better.
So have you got any tips actually to make them better? But I'm willing to learn. But going back to our story, so last week we spoke about the orange, and if your partner, I think that the girl was talking about this. She just had her nails done, and she wanted to peel the orange, so she asked her partner, would he do it for her? And that kind of.
That's how she was measuring whether you were a good partner or not.
So there's a similar one that's been trending on TikTok now, and do you know what? I'm going to say it from the start, I think it's a little bit pathetic. I mean, they've got 150 million views. I'm going to be basically doing the same kind of thing next week.
I was going to say, you call it pathetic, but how many views have we got?
What I'm saying is, it's like...
Tell us what is the TikTok?
So the whole thing was, they're in the kitchen, so a bit similar to the orange one. So there's a couple that are there, and then the girl just gets... a tube of like tomato ketchup and then just squirts it everywhere and then says to him, clean it up. What? I mean, there's got to be some kind of tonality with it, really. Clean it up. But apparently he does it. It's just ridiculous. What would Ashley say? Ashley's always got to come into this.
Poor old I'm really sorry, Ash. You never signed up for this, but you did sign up with me. He would look at me and just go, clean it up yourself. Furthermore, why are you pouring ketchup over our kitchen counters? And thirdly, don't waste it.
I was going to say it's a waste. But the other thing is, I think if I saw ketchup all over the side, I would naturally clean it up. But then if I thought my partner had actually squeezed it on purpose for me to clean it up.
You are testing me.
Yeah, that is kind of like...
that's like
I would leave it there for weeks. My house is clean normally. But
see, now that's my this is my problem.
But this is the thing, you just do it.
This is it. And I've done this with Ashley before when we've argued over washing up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave the washing up and he will do it. And I will go and sit in another room, and in my head I'm going, I'm still sitting there. There's dirty plates.
I've done that. And it winds you up.
And
you can't get on with anything else.
No, because it's just there. Yeah, they're in the sink. And
we should be revealing all of this, by the way.
Yeah, but just he'll go and he'll take the plate and he'll put it next to the sink. It's there. It's right there.
I've actually got a dishwasher and I never ever use it.
I'm the dishwasher in my house.
Yeah, how are you? Mel's the dishwasher.
I think that I just think that's a really childish and it's just nasty.
Also it's nasty. And why are you doing that on social media to try and prove and validate your love and all of that?
No.
It's humiliating. It is. I mean, listen, it's a gender.
I think that that makes you look like a spoilt brat.
But also, I think when I was reading it, there was a case of the lady, the girl, the woman that actually did it was a content creator. Right. So it's just, it's a bit of humour. So if that's the case, then so be it. Oh, but I suppose it makes people think, actually, would you do that? But basing your relationship on it,
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I actually just think that that's a ridiculous thing to do. And if somebody did that to me, I think you just.
But we're going back to like the food condiments. Is that like the fortune of your love that you can show each other?
Say you love her with mustard.
Yeah. Yeah. Pass a daddy sauce.
What happened
or the whipped cream?
Diamonds are a Mel's best friend. Yeah. No, it's mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Say it with condiments now.
No.
Well, talking of condiments.
Yes.
Isn't that...
I've got another one.
I was trying to do a really swanky link then, and you were like, yeah?
Yeah. Well, basically, this is really exciting, actually.
Okay, go on.
Do you know what the other thing was? I watched in the week a good friend of both of ours, Ryland. Obviously, as you all know, he presents on This Morning, and they was doing it. This is not the story that we're going to be talking about, but they do Deliveroo with. It's like I think they teamed up. That's it. Deliveroo teamed up with Ann Summers. So while they was live on air, they called up. They got the producers to call up, and they ordered all these things.
Wait, hold on. Rewind selector. You can order Ann Summers via Deliveroo.
So basically,
if you need something
if you've got someone over, or if you're just feeling like, a married couple, whatever, feeling a bit kinky that
night.
Or
if you're on your own and you're a little bit bored.
Whatever, spices up your life, you can literally, and they timed it, they called up Deliveroo and they ordered, I'm not going to say what they ordered, because I can't remember actually. But there was a few gels in there, I think. But it was there in 15 minutes. I think that was the time scale.
Well, that actually makes sense because I did see Ryland's Instagram the other day and you'll all know his mum Linda Mummy Linda, we'll call her. She's absolutely brilliant. And she went to take a delivery at the door and it was an Ann Summers bag and he was like, don't open that.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
Yeah, and Lynn was going, there's some, no.
Oh, well, he got inspired then after the show.
And then she opened one and she said, I'll have that. These are wipes.
Oh, that was what they were talking about, the wipes. And
they were like intimate wipes. And she said, maybe you can use them. And he said, for what? And she said, well, for your bum. And he said, I don't think that's what they're for. And she went, hold on a minute. He went, don't read it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think Rochelle was quite curious about what the wipes were. And I think they ordered the wipes, but they never got them. So that was, But anyway, moving on. What we're going to be talking about today is there's a sex brand out there called Lalo. And I'm going to read this, actually. So it's launching the UK's first food play delivery service. So to help the kinkiest amongst us all, spicing up their love life. So basically... And actually, they're doing a Valentine's special. So you can go onto the website. It's called Lalo. And if you click on it now, so click and lick. And basically, you enter a competition.
Wait a minute, did you just make that up?
Click and...
Did you just make that up on the spot? No.
Why'd you have to question it, Mel? Yeah, I did. But you can actually...
that was way too quick.
You can click on the link and you can sign up. Yes,
lick,
and you can sign up, put your details in, and then you'll get a hamper on Valentine's Day. And this hamper, did I make a note of it? It's got loads of stuff in there. You'll get there's a thing actually called. Now let me tell you what's in the hamper first.
You're excited about this, aren't you?
Oh, which bit should I do first?
All right, Lise.
I've already signed up.
Kermit.
I've actually already signed up. Obviously,
I haven't.
Well, for research purposes.
Well, obviously.
And they deliver to everyone in London, in Manchester, and I think in Edinburgh.
But what's in the,
anyone
what's in
that's
the
listening-
kit? I want to know.
So there's whipped cream, there's cherries. There's a few other little kind of food bits, but you also get massage candle. You get some condoms.
A massage candle? What's a massage
I don't know. Oh yeah, massage. I don't know. I don't know. What is a
No,
massage?
I'm sure that's...
Oh, it's a massage candle for your body. No, if you Google it while we're on air, please.
No, can I just...
I'm sure it's
I'm sure there's a comma in between those two words. Massage.
You can't get
candle.
a massage, so it must be like a candle that's actually a massage. Okay. I'm just actually questioning myself now.
I think you've read it wrong.
Listen, that is a possibility. Anyone that listens to this show knows that I get a few little things wrong. But you do get a blindfold as well. I think I had the blindfold on when I was, doing the research. Anyway, they've got...
You know what? What if there is a massage candle? I'm going to like such a
you're going
wally.
to stand corrected. I'm thinking it is something... Yeah.
I think you should stop quick while you're ahead.
So basically there's this thing called sploshing. Sorry, my chest still. This 100-day cough. Yes, there's this thing called sploshing. So does anyone know what sploshing is? Am I getting some nods here?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
So I'm going to tell you about sploshing. So it's basically, it's just food play. So, and it's making it more acceptable and more appealing to the community. Appealing to the community. So basically, it's just getting whipped cream and like cherries. Obviously, they're quite tantalising, aren't they? Like you've got all these senses in your lips, haven't you? So like cherries, and you can swap.
She's doing the hands again. I love it.
But yeah, there's whipped cream. People like the hot sauce. But I will say, disclaimer here: can't put anything too hot on your body because sugar actually holds the heat and bubbles. So test it before.
Otherwise, you'll end up like those 2,000 people in the survey with a sexual injury.
Yeah, I know, and 3rd-degree burn. So yeah, let it cool down.
Like where there's blame, there's a claim.
Yeah.
So please say to the court what happened. Well, there was some hot sauce, and I'd put it in the microwave. Come on, I couldn't even speak.
Yeah, so basically it's Valentine's Day. So get on the website, everybody. No, actually don't, because I want to win. I don't know if everyone gets a little gift or... no, I think it all goes into a drawer because it's a big box. I think they did actually say, yeah, no. I think it's just one person.
That was a moment where you actually thought about something before you said it.
I know. I was like, but there is another thing also.
Go on.
So we're talking about all this, this food play, and it's like role play. But there's also a thing. I'm not sure what this is called, but I'm just going to make it up. I'm not going to make it up. I'm just going to explain it. It might be easier. But people apparently people love it. So it's buying a cake and then sitting. Apparently the sensation when you sit on it, it's cold. And oh my God, we're back. I'm crying again. Yeah, so it's also been described.
Wait a minute.
It's described as like a sub fetish thing. So,
Wait a minute.
I think it's the white boots. They do something.
Wait a minute.
So like you go. Oh.
People like sitting on cakes.
What? Like you throw it in someone's face normally. But yeah, there's this thing, buy a cake and they sit on it.
Wait, do they have sex on the cake or just sit on the cake?
I didn't get that far. But I think it's just like, especially if it's been in the fridge, it's just a bit cold. So you've gone from hot sauce to cold cake.
So let us know if you're a hot sauce or a cold cake kind of person.
So basically it's soaring throughout the UK, this food fetish thing.
Oh, my mascara's running.
So guys, if you've got any food fetishes or you'd like to share some stories with us, please do. And you know where to find us, outlandish.live, or on our Instagrams. It's Lisa Nash and it's Mel Cameron.
Please feel free to send Lisa any pictures of you sitting on
God, can you imagine
cakes.
just the inbox just full of like people sitting on cakes? Apparently it's really good for people to watch as well.
Cake porn?
Cake porn. Oh my God. Click and lick. Anyway, let's move on. We've got our wonderful guest that's coming in.
Okay, guys, so this week's guest is the very lovely Gigi Engle. Thank you, Gigi, so much for joining us. Gigi, you're a sex educator and writer, and you featured in loads of really well-known publications, including, Cosmopolitan, Men's Health. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what a sex educator is?
Sure. Well, I'm actually a sex and relationship psychotherapist, but I'm also a certified sex educator. So a sex therapist does traditional psychotherapy with an emphasis on sexual concerns and sexuality. So that's kind of like day to day is what I do with patients. My sex education work is mostly with gender, sexuality, and relationship diversity. So that's everything from polyamorous folks to kink and various forms of open relationship dynamics, as well as working with the LGBTQ community. So that's a lot of fun. And then I write about sexuality about various topics, pretty much anything that's interesting me, the stranger, the better, for all these different publications. It's wear a lot of hats, so it's never a dull moment.
Oh, amazing. I mean, talking to people about sex and stuff, do you think it's a bit more open these days? Are they more forthcoming with what they want to discuss?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when people come to sex therapy, they're pretty aware of what they're coming to discuss. There can be some apprehensiveness that comes with talking about sex. That's actually one of the first things that we talk about when they come into the room, is I acknowledge the fact that we're not really a society that's been taught how to talk about sex. We don't have a lot of sexual communication. That's not something we're taught. So coming in and just like being expected to just openly talk about your sexual wellness issues is a difficult challenge for anybody. So yeah, I would say that people are generally more open to talk about sex sort of in a general sense, but we're still quite squeamish about it. And people still get quite kind of like giggly, and they're like, oh, you teach about sex. Oh, like I saw family
in the classroom. I was going to say, is it people that come on their own, like singles, or is it mostly partnerships?
I mostly see singles, but I also see couples as well. Yeah.
I just, this whole area fascinates me, Gigi. Like, you must have the most incredible conversations on a daily basis. Do you think that it's just because as a society, it's still a bit of a subject that we all shy away from, when actually it's just such a normal part of everyday life? Why is it that we get so, like you said, squeamish and giggly when we're talking about something that is so natural that everybody does?
I mean, we live in a society that is very steeped in puritanical roots. So sex is something that's viewed as shameful. It still has a lot of religious shame that's coded into it. And it's not considered something that's proper socially, even though sex is very much a normal part of the human experience, and it deserves to be talked about like every other part of the human experience, because we as a society have decided it's something shameful and taboo. That's really what causes us to feel uncomfortable about it. It's not that sex is like inherently shameful, but it's because we've decided sex is shameful.
And the thing that I wanted to ask you, actually, because confidence is such a big thing within a relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think how a man or a woman makes the other one feel. What are the tips that you speak to people about, like suggesting to their partner about what they want, how, they're satisfied, or how they feel comfortable in the bedroom or in the kitchen or wherever?
I mean, that's a big question, and it would take a lot of sessions to really parse and parcel out how people are going to communicate with each other. But I think like something that can be really useful is like starting to build your own masturbation routine. and getting more comfortable with that, and then talking to your partner about the ways that you bring yourself to orgasm. And that can be a really great way to bridge a gap between partners who maybe aren't getting the sexual satisfaction that they would like from a partner. We have this very, very pervasive idea. Oh, my ring light's falling. Ooh, we got it.
It's like a halo slipping there for a moment, Gigi.
Sorry, give me a sec.
It's all this sex talk.
I do not know what's just happened. Okay.
You're still lit beautifully. You're still lit beautifully.
Okay, I was like, I don't know what to do about that. What? Okay. Anyway, this very pervasive idea that like masturbation doesn't have its place in a partnered relationship, or that it's like less important than partnered sex. And like if you're masturbating in a relationship, there must be something wrong with your relationship. But actually a strong sexual relationship with yourself is like completely separate from your relationship with your partner. And it should be something that's honored and explored. And it can actually really help to foster our connected sexual experiences. And so I do think that there should be a space for masturbation, and that as a topic with a partner can make you feel more comfortable and make you feel more seen, because there is a very strange phenomenon where like partners feel they are entitled to police their partner's porn or masturbation habits. And actually your partner's relationship with pornography or masturbation is not your property, and it's not really any of your business unless it's negatively affecting your relationship because they're neglecting your sex life. So I think dispelling a lot of shame around that can help to dispel shame around sexuality, which makes us feel more comfortable and confident in having those conversations.
Do you know what's wild is that everything you've just said there is just things that we accept as that's just the way it is. Like, you know, because society has told us that you should be able to police that, or that's not right, or it's all just conforming to an idea, right? And we had this conversation the other week, how uncomfortable people feel about talking to their partners about sex and what they like. How does that relate to when they're coming and speaking to you as someone that they don't know that intimately? Is it easier, or is that you know, more tricky?
I think for the most part it's easier because they know that I won't judge them. There's not that same intimate level of relationship where I'm going to, there's no possibility of me shaming them. Yeah. And there's not this vulnerability that's inherent that we have with intimate partners. They know that I'm a sexual wellness professional and a sex therapist. And so like, this is something I see every day. So I do think that people often come to sex therapy because they can't talk to their partners and they feel more comfortable speaking to a professional who isn't going to judge them or think anything negative about them.
I think you're right. It's judgment, isn't it? And
yeah.
we live in such a judgmental society where everything's, you know, you can comment on anybody's lives and.
Well, the ultimate kind of feeling is being at peace with yourself and being satisfied, so to speak. So, you know, I think a lot of people grow up hiding these feelings and being suppressed and not kind of really exploring them. So we want to ask you actually, what are your 5 tips on spicing things up in a long-term relationship? Could you give us 5 tips? Yeah.
First of all,
I'm 9 years in my relationship, Gigi, so I'm just going to listen in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always happy to give long-term relationships any spicy tips they need, because Lord knows everyone needs them. Because like the truth is that like sex in long-term relationships, it does naturally need to be constantly cultivated and reworked, because basically like you can be having really good sex, but with your partner, but it's sort of the same as going to your favorite restaurants every night. It's like you can go and you have your favorite meal there, but if you go there every single night and have the exact same thing, you're going to get bored. Yeah, and it's the same thing with sexuality. So the first tip I would give is to explore novelty, because novelty is a really powerful aphrodisiac for couples. And that's trying new things, anything from role play to trying a little kink, trying a new sex position, having sex in a different place, even somewhere different in the house. It doesn't have to be like vacation or something, or investing in sex toys. Sex toys are a great way to spice up relationships. Basically just sort of reinvigorating your sex life with something new that feels exciting. And that can really help make things can make you want to have more sex, because you're like giving it that new relationship energy once again.
Right.
Also,
So I was going to say, go on then. Sorry, I thought you'd finished. I was going to say, what are the 5 there then?
No, wait. Gigi's got a whole
she's got a few
I
more.
know, she's got a few up her sleeve.
That's one tip.
Oh, that's just one. Okay, there we go.
My second tip would be to try making a yes, no, maybe list, which is a part of this novelty exploration. So it's a second tip, but it's part of that. And a yes, no, maybe list is a list of all of these, every single sex thing that you could possibly think of. Everything as simple as kissing to literally like foot fetish. Like it's all on this list. And you basically just go through it separately, and you would put down like yes, no, maybe, like yes as in I'm definitely down to try this. No as in like that's not going to happen. Or maybe like I could be open to it. And then you and your partner can come together and look at your list and kind of see where there's overlap. And that can give you some ideas and a jumping off point to have conversations about trying new things. Because I think that when it comes to novelty, I can easily just be like, oh, try new things. And people are like, I don't know. And I don't know if my partner is going to be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. So I think that can be a good way to
That's a great idea, actually. It's a good conversation
So where can people get these forms? Can they download them?
I would recommend, if you're looking for a yes, no, maybe list, Sex with Emily. She's another podcaster. She has a really good one on her website that I often recommend for people. So highly recommend checking that out.
Excellent.
I'll probably make my own at some point, but I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Well, we'll wait for that, Gigi. And when you do, just send it to us, and we'll make sure that it's available for all of our viewers.
Okay.
What's your next tip?
The third thing I would say is building your sexual currency. So basically, sexual currency is the energy that we create with an intimate partner that isn't inherently sexual, but it is erotic and it is intimate. So this is investing in things like non-sexual touch. A lot of times couples, when they have a libido difference, they will literally shut down any kind of intimate touching, like even kissing and hugging, because they believe that it's going to lead to, they're going to be pressured to have sex. Yeah. And so they'd rather just shut it down immediately than it be pressured to have sex. But if we take sex off the table and instead invest in building an erotic connection with each other without sex being the object, people can engage more in this non-sexual touch, which ironically can lead both partners to want to have more sex because they actually feel safer and more connected with each other.
I was just thinking that, because I think there are a lot of couples, I would imagine, that are out there that, you know, the thought of, you don't want to kind of get into that intimacy, having a kiss or a cuddle because you think it might lead on to sex, especially if you're tired in the evening, for example. But just knowing that you've got that currency, like she's saying.
But sometimes it can be simple as someone just stroking your hair, and that makes you feel a certain way. And like you said, Gigi, that can lead to somewhere that you weren't even thinking about it. And sometimes it's the overthinking that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the pressure. When we have pressure, that's like, it's a big problem. Okay, so fourth tip. I think that we need to stop putting this emphasis on penetrative sex being the only kind of real sex, and actually like removing that from the table for a while if you're really trying to spice things up. And instead, I say investing at first in mutual masturbation. And that's where the two of you are either like side by side or facing each other, whatever, and you're masturbating, but you're together. And I think that this can help to refigure the way that we think about sexuality, because a lot of what keeps us from having sex, especially we have kids, we have long hours at work and stuff. It's like sometimes sex is just like a lot of work. It's like tiring. There's like a lot involved in that if you're going full on sex. So sometimes if we can add different things in, mutual masturbation, trying sex toys, just having oral sex, hand sex, whatever it is, that can really take the pressure off of needing to have it be this very exerting activity. And then you're going to be more open to having it because you know it's not going to be this exhausting thing. And then it's not this huge sort of thing that you have to surmount. And then you want to do it more if it's not going to be as much work.
Yep.
As not sexy as that sounds, it's just true.
That makes absolute sense, actually.
It does,
It really does. Because, again, it's that forward thinking thing, right? We're all thinking about, oh, yeah, but it's going to mean this and it's going to mean that. And no one particularly wants to put in a bad performance. So you're thinking about, you know. But, yeah, that great tip. And what would be your final?
Yeah, the final tip.
The final tip would be to engage in erotic material together. So this can be a really, I think porn is such a hot and tender topic with couples because some people will feel very threatened by it or feel very uncomfortable around it. But this actually, like feeling uncomfortable around pornography, assuming the person isn't using it so compulsively that they're like neglecting their relationship and their job and everything. Because most people think that someone is a porn addict if they're just watching porn, and like, well, there's no such thing as porn addiction, but we'll get into that on a different day. But like, porn can actually be a really fun tool for couples to like engage with erotic material together, as long as we're seeing it within this context of this is entertainment. This is not a replacement for a relationship. I think it can actually be really fun for like partners to each bring something they really like. It doesn't have to be like a clip from a free tube site. It could be like an erotic story or something from Dipsy, who do like all erotic. They're an erotic story app, and you can bring that together and share it with each other. And that can really create a lot of like fun erotic energy, because most partners do really want their partners to feel erotically and energetically turned on. And that can be a huge turn on for them. So to be brought the material that they like can cause spark, which can be a really fun coupled activities to do together.
Oh, thank you. Love those.
Gigi, I could listen to you talk for hours.
But before we let you go, earlier in the podcast, we were talking about, I don't think Mel really believes me.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah, about the cake sitting. And then briefly we mentioned it, and it's not a new thing. It's, it's been around for some time. Can you explain to us, because I'm sure you can explain it a lot better than I did.
Yeah, we giggled a lot because Lisa just didn't.
I just had sat on it, a cold cake, and, it stimulates you. But I'm sure you've got a more eloquent way of putting it.
The point of cake sitting is not that the person who is sitting on the cake is like orgasming from sitting on the cake. It's part of sploshing fetish, which is when you are attracted to or turned on by jelly-like or food-like substances. So really what's going on with cake sitting is it's a visual experience for a person who enjoys watching another person sit on a cake, usually a beautiful woman in some kind of sexy lingerie or G-string. And the idea is that that there's a lot of stuff that's happening at play. That's a really visual experience. It's also about the texture of the cake, the feeling of the cake, that you're imagining seeing that. And it's about also, there's a whole thing about destroying something beautiful that could be quite a turn on for people.
Well, didn't they do that in that film? Is it 9.5 Weeks with I'm sure they use food in that. What was 9.5 Weeks?
Yeah, it's 9.5 Weeks.
Yeah. That's when the first time, obviously I was young.
Messy fetish.
Yeah.
People are really into the messiness and the textures and the smells and the tastes of food and sort of jelly-like substances and food substances, and that's sort of the appeal.
So I bet it's a big hit on OnlyFans then. Is it a big hit?
Yeah, there's a ton on OnlyFans. It can be erotic performance art.
Because I've seen this when because we've all looked into the foot fetish stuff on OnlyFans, because we're all like, there's some really good money that's made out of that.
Have you been looking into
creators? Got quite nice feet.
I wrote a whole article about how it's not as easy as it looks.
Well, that's another thing that I looked into, that, Gigi, and it's not as easy. And actually, you have to be really creative. And that's something that I saw was it's a lot to do with feet and textures and in certain things, so you have to be really quite creative with it.
Well, I suppose if you imagine you've got a cake and you're just like a bulldozer just sitting on it, I don't think that's going to stimulate or be erotic for some people, is it? So I think there's definitely
I think you just ruined that completely. You just ruined that for everyone. Gigi, thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us today.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's so much we could talk to you about, so I think there's a whole nother podcast in this, so hopefully we can tempt you to come back and get you into the studio.
Yeah.
Anytime. Happy to.
Gigi, if people want to follow you, where can they find you?
Sure. You can find me on my website at missgigiengle.com. That's where you'll find the link to my newsletter, The G-Spot, and I'm on socials at Gigi Engle, specifically Instagram and Twitter. Well, X, I guess.
Yeah, it's called X now. Well, listen, wonderful to talk to you. Thank you. I look forward to you actually coming into the studio.
Thanks, Gigi.
Sure.
See ya. Bye.
Well, that was amazing.
She was so interesting, wasn't she?
I could have sat and spoke to Gigi for hours, so I feel like we might have to get her back if
well, it's why she's so successful. She's got so many great tips, and the way that she speaks and the knowledge. And there's a lot of people out there that are very shy and they don't really know where to do
go.
or how to, to move on sexually. So it's great. She was fantastic.
She was amazing. Well,
So-
I've learned a whole load of things today. So I've learned about.
Well, we're 6 episodes in.
No, we're not. We're 7. This is 7.
Yeah, we're 6 in, but this is our 7th.
But I've learned about sploshing.
Sploshing.
I said sloshing. That's
Yeah,
me.
click and
Slosh.
lick.
Click.
Click and lick.
Sploshing.
We've got another word that we're going to be bringing up in this love line. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
explain
have.
that
We
in a
have.
bit. So
Cake sitting, sploshing.
yeah, I don't think we didn't actually ask, because when I was looking it up, I don't think there was an actual particular word for it. I think it's just called cake sitting. Are you going to do it when you get home? Ash, happy birthday!
It'd be like, why have you ruined a cake?
Yeah, that's what I would be like.
Get off the cake.
Yeah, get off the cat when I eat it.
Don't forget, guys, do give us a like, a follow, and a review. 5 stars and above, please.
And also, when you go onto Spotify or Apple, you've got to follow us.
Yes.
Not just play. Make sure you do follow us, please.
Please do.
Thank you.
So it's time for our love line, and we have got
A corker.
a corker this week. So this week's love line is: hi girls, I've been with my boyfriend for a few months now. Things are going really well, and I could really see us settling down and having kids further down the line. Oh, that's nice. However, here we go. Last week, he brought up the idea of having kinkier sex. More specifically, he wants us to try BDSM.
This is the word that I'm going to explain in a bit. I'm so getting excited like bunny tonight, I know.
It's because you had a few goes at trying to figure out how to say.
Well, I did actually Google it a few times, and then one of our engineers, he actually knew. We got a different engineer in today.
Yeah, he was like,
He
did
goes,
you
"Yeah,
not know?
Well, I'm young. All right, mate.
She, or they said, I'm not going to lie, I'm not the most adventurous person in the bedroom, but I've never had any complaints. I've never tried BDSM, and to be honest, I don't really see the appeal of restraints and power play. When he mentioned it, I just kind of laughed it off and changed the subject. I thought we had a pretty good sex life, and I didn't think he was into anything kinky. If he wants to try BDSM, does that mean that he's not happy with what we usually do in the bedroom? I'm in two minds, because on the one hand, I want to make him happy, but on the other hand, I'm just not really into that kind of thing. Do I just bite the bullet and try it out, or brush it under the carpet? I don't want to risk losing him because we don't have the same tastes in the bedroom. So before we go any further, Lisa, what did your research tell you?
Well, do you know what I was going to say before that? Was going back to what Gigi said. For this person would be really good for this list.
Yes.
To
Yes, no,
write
maybe.
it down, and then it's not that uncomfortable. Clearly, this person wants to spice things up. Doesn't mean that they're not happy with what's happening at the moment, but sometimes if you've been together for a period of time,
But for those
you wanna
people that
introduce you something.
don't know what BDSM means.
Oh, you're dying for me to explain this.
Oh, I'm so dying for you to explain
It's
it.
only because I can't say the word properly.
Go on.
Well, so the B
Stands for
bondage.
yeah.
And I can't read my writing for the D.
You want to put your glasses on, girl.
So the D's the dominance, and then obviously you got the submission, and then also the submission could be there. I said sadism, but it's actually sadism. She was on the floor howling, and
said-
I can't pronounce this. Masochism, is it?
Masochism. So Lisa said, oh yeah, so it's that sadomasochism.
Clearly I've never done
say it one
Actually,
more
do you know what?
Say it one more time.
Just so you can laugh and giggle.
Sado.
I got to think about it. It's sadism, macosism. Yeah, even our guy's laughing. Okay, enough of that. But I don't even know what it. I don't even know what it means.
Sadomasochism.
What does it mean? Should I Google this? Really, shouldn't I? Anyway, it's not about me. It's the love line. Let's move on. I'll Google it after.
So I agree with what you said. So just because somebody wants to try a little kink, it doesn't mean that they're not happy with what.
Oh, by the way, I'm kinky. I just me trying to back foot. Put the wine down, Lee. I was just playing
You
my head
do
going, like, I don't even know what that means.
You do realise that our amazing team behind Outlandish are going to use that By the way, I'm kinky.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tagline.
Great.
Every week.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, go on you.
I do think because somebody wants to try something doesn't mean that they're not happy with what is going on. And although the person says, I'm not into that, I guess you don't know until you've tried.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
You know, try it and
I never knew I was
it and
thinking.
see.
I'm joking. I'm just playing. Yeah, why not? I think what Gigi said again, having those lists and then ticking and saying, you could have those columns, couldn't you? So
I like that yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, or that's what I'm saying, yeah. So maybe, and then you're thinking like, if you're both up for doing it, depends on your relationship, and if it's, you're comfortable and you feel safe, then
And I know
you could try out.
that person was talking about like restraints and you don't have to start out there. You could
End up there.
You could try with a little.
Where's the bell? Locked up. Anyway, I hope that's helped.
We are so helpful every week.
But I love doing this, and I hope that you guys have a bit of a giggle with us as well. I hope we do offer some advice and
There she goes. Look, she's 2 glasses of wine in. The slurring's back, baby.
The support is what I was going to say. But we always get our wonderful guests on.
Yeah,
to give the expert advice.
And I think what we really try to do is just take all of the taboo away from it. It's just a conversation.
That's it.
It's just a part of life. So let's not make it something that's really, don't talk about that, we shouldn't talk about this. Let's just have a conversation.
We're going to be talking about all the way home, Mel.
I don't know, you just said you wanted more wine and pizza, so we could be here for some time. Thank you guys. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, give us a review. And don't
give us a follow, remember.
Give us a follow and do send in any of your dilemmas to us. We will keep them all.
And also your comments. We love your comments.
Well, only the nice ones.
Yeah,
don't like
the
the
nice
not
ones.
nice ones.
Well, we always get nice ones, actually. So thank you, guys. And see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.